how long have you been doing this? Is that a franchise?
So I worked with Fitbit as it was being branded. It's basically functional fitness. It's taking CrossFit and reversing it.
Okay.
Making it more specified for the generalized public.
Okay.
So creating programs for the lowest level athlete and then programming for higher level athletes.
Okay.
So that there's a progression line for normal people like yourself and myself.
Sure.
So it just prevents injury. But truly it became a large challenge because as I was with them for 3 years during the whole branding process, nobody knows what SickFit is. So nobody searches for SickFit. So I'm out creating brand recognition, and then beyond that, having to explain what SickFit is.
Okay.
So I work in a CrossFit facility now, and it's a lot easier to tell people I don't coach CrossFit. I do foundations of CrossFit. Right. Yeah. You say it just like you just did.
Come on, Pena.
Here's the deal, girl. Nobody comes to. Yeah, no, we've already discussed that.
Yeah.
So,
because we'll just brand you with your, because I only put your stuff on there,
Yep.
so people would have to make like that connection, as to where you train. And
yeah, the design need to be discussed.
Okay.
Hey, Carey. So when we drop Letitia's episode today,
Yeah.
do you want to drop that on the podcast too?
Yes.
Okay.
What we can do is the show art is already there. I have it created.
Okay.
You could just put a title in the show art, and then when I get done with the political show, I'll go in and fill in all the art.
So do you want to change the title, or do you want me to put a title and then you can create a new title?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to, I almost think, gosh, she has so many interesting things to say, but I think the new part of her story, I think her story is all about a walk in her shoes, and how she truly is a big celebrity auctioneer. She broke through the glass ceiling in a world that was strictly a man's world. She was humble about it, but there were no women auctioneers. So I think we really need to play up that part of it.
Okay. I'll figure it out. Go ahead and speak into your mic there, Jeff.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Okay, pull the mic towards you because you're probably going to end up turning towards her, and then turn the mic this way, just like that. Yeah.
Mic check, mic check.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she had seen a bullying report that I did.
Oh, she talked about it for like a good 5-10 minutes.
To you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she saw that, and then she wrote me and told me about her daughter. She was suicidal. She's really great.
Yeah.
You have to have a great presence to be able to fill big rooms with big people.
Yeah.
And still keep the attention and keep the focus. She's a great public speaker. But truly it is because she does educate herself. I've emceed a lot of events, and people just show up, they do the thing, and like she said, she goes and really learns so she can speak from the heart,
Right.
I want to hit, of course, your before and after, how you got back on your feet. Also, a lot of the questions that I get about paleo, and I might ask you about that. What is the name of that thing I asked you the other day? Ketosis or?
Ketosis.
Okay.
We're ready when you are, Carey.
Mm-hmm. And make sure, Jeff, that your answers, you don't get too long of answers. If I start waving my hands, that means it's too long. No, I'm kidding.
Seriously. That's it.
You're done.
That's how it happened.
Dude, his voice cuts right through the
He
mic.
has a good voice.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right, we're ready when you are.
I'm ready.
3, 2.
Hey everyone, I'm Carey Pena. Thank you so much for listening on iTunes and Stitcher, and thanks for watching. Today we have Jesse Holland in studio. He is a very well-known coach based in Scottsdale, Arizona, and a personal trainer, public speaker, who went through his own very dramatic transformation. And I should say, he's also my athletic coach. Jess, how are you?
I'm doing great today. Happy to be here.
So I wanted to have you in studio because a lot of the things that you have been teaching me over the months, I get a lot of questions about. And so we're going to get to some of that, including what is paleo and why it's a lifestyle that you think works for a lot of people in terms of eating healthy and keeping your weight in check. But you went through a very, very dramatic transformation. I mean, you're in great shape now.
Thank you.
But it wasn't always like that, and you're not shy about telling that story. Tell folks what happened.
Well, six years ago now, I had a severe back injury, which resulted in a severe surgery and recovery process that was 11 months long. I refer to that as the darkest point of my life. I spent the majority of my days flat lying on my back and limiting the amount of liquids that I was drinking because it was such a challenge just to get off the floor to use the restroom. That led me down a path of recovery that I was blessed to work with great people. I spent hours in my recovery process in my physical therapy clinic, and hours before my treatment and hours after, and I ended up working with therapists after I was discharged, and that became my place of employment and my extended school, if you will, thereafter for the next 3 years until I moved on to an alternate company, being SickFit, and kind of explored coaching what I'd learned within physical therapy and application to the professional athletes that I was working with and to our husband and housewives that are within my realms of work.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about how you attack and approach how you help people, because you come at it from a very functional fitness frame of mind, which is things that people can do in their everyday life. But first, when you were in that dark place, you've talked to me about this before, it was pretty dark. And you were someone who was used to moving and being athletic and being around athletes. And I just want to ask you a little bit more about emotionally the toll it took, because so many people watching and listening might be going through the same thing, where you have something that really does flatline you and you just wonder, am I ever going to get out of this place?
Yeah, that was, I mean, like I said, I refer to that as the darkest point of my life. I didn't know where the end of the tunnel was, and going through constant pain is, I was at a debilitated state. I don't know how I pulled myself out of it other than putting one foot in front of another, and knowing that my health took precedence over everything else. Everything that I'd worked for my entire life mattered not up to that point. It didn't matter how much money I had. It didn't matter what kind of car I had if I didn't have my health. Every day there going forward, I put my health in front of everything else. And I found such a love and a passion for learning more about the body than I truly thought I knew. And I grew up in athletics and grew up around athletes, and I thought I was very knowledgeable, but I learned things that applied to me in my own personal injury within my back surgery that resonated. Things like how I would do things in real life, what I was doing in therapy.
And how you translate those into your exercise routine. Tell me a little bit about what CrossFit means for those, because I tell people I CrossFit and they wonder what does that mean? Are you pushing tires down the street? I mean, what is CrossFit?
Sometimes.
On bad days.
It depends on what you're wearing, right?
Yeah.
Well, what is CrossFit? I coach CrossFit. I coach women's classes. I coach bodyweight classes. CrossFit takes foundational Olympic lifts, and we put our bodies into a state of metabolic conditioning, and that's where we start to see, within high intensity, great results. CrossFit's been great for the population of the United States. We are chronically obese in society, and as we're looking for instantaneous results, this type of workout starts to create such a great result in a quick manner. The challenge with CrossFit is that most of these individuals that are coming in looking for quick results are not athletic individuals. So that's where I take and spin my approach into a more functional standpoint and coach them through things that are going to apply to them within their own real life, and parts of CrossFit that don't work with your life or Shannon's life, I'm going to kind of leave out of our program.
How big is the eating component?
Oh, it's I was always taught growing up that fitness is king and nutrition is queen, and together they make a happy kingdom. I always grew up thinking the man was the power of the house, but I grew up now and I know the woman is the power of the house, so the nutrition is the largest part, right? It's 80-20. If you're not eating properly, then you're basically working out to maintain. And that's where, for me, I've lived in those realms my entire life. I've been athletic and I've worked within working out and played sports my whole life, but I was never truly progressing to the capabilities or ability that I had because I wasn't eating appropriately. I didn't know how to eat appropriately.
And let's go through, can you give people some specific tips in terms of day-to-day eating and the biggest mistakes that people make and the things that you think everyone should listen to and try to implement?
Sure. Just a couple. So, a society that is chronically obese, I believe that we are chronically dehydrated. We commonly mistake our thirst for hunger. So, first and foremost, living in Arizona, it makes it real easy because it's so hot here to always be drinking water. But no matter where you're at, we should be drinking half of our body weight in ounces of water, and that's a very minimal. If you're taking in physical activity outside of that, you should be drinking more than that. That's a great starting point. If you can tackle that every day, then moving on, chewing our food to the point of consistency of applesauce. And then a common misnomer is I often work with clients that don't eat enough, and the majority of my clients don't eat enough.
Why? Because they feel like they want to lose weight.
We truly need to feed our metabolism. We just need to feed ourselves with the proper foods and what is best for us. I work to eat things not out of a bag or a box. Healthy fats. I take in protein first thing when I wake up in the morning, and keeping things balanced between your fats, your carbohydrates, and your proteins, and knowing when to take them in. I also will find that people start to find out I'm eating more vegetables. But they're covering them with cheese, or they're juicing. Well, they're juicing maybe later on in the afternoon when they're never going to use those carbohydrates, and essentially those fruits that they're eating that they think is great become sugar that stores anyway. A carb is a carb is a carb. So starting to learn how the food affects us and when we're supposed to eat it is a step beyond that.
As you've seen and worked with people, and what I love about you, Jess, is that you don't turn anyone away, so you work with people who are all shapes and sizes, all ages, and you really believe that everyone can elevate themselves no matter where you're at in your life. So what are some of the main points, and where do you start with someone?
Where I start depends on, I start with where the individual's at. Each client that I work with comes to me in a different place. Some people are at ground level learning just how to be healthier than they were the day before. And with an individual like that, then I'll start with the very basics, just the top three that we just went through.
Yeah.
And I'll start to build and stack upon habits. I'm a believer that we're creatures of habit, and I coach a lot from my own personal standpoint, and where I've found success in the last 6 to 7 years of my journey has been just creating good habits and eliminating bad habits. So I would start basics there, and if somebody came to me at a more elevated level, then I meet them there, and I work to tweak or tune what maybe nutrition, sleep, hydration. I whatever component is going to take us to their specific goals.
You guys at your CrossFit gym are very big on paleo, and so I talk to people about paleo, and a lot of people just have no idea what that really means. So kind of in short order, can you give us a little bit more detail?
Yeah, most certainly. You know, paleo is not for everybody. It's just what I, again, found best to work for me personally. There's other ways that you can go about nutrition, zone, or many other different ways, but paleo basically takes us back to the realms of caveman living, and for me that was very simple. I just eliminated foods that came in a bag or a box. You're looking for fresh fruits, fresh meats, lean meats, and nuts, berries. Those are going to be where we're getting no cheese. There was
oh,
no cheese.
man,
Yeah,
come
sorry.
on.
You can say cheese anyways, Shan.
You know, so we stay away from the cheese, and that was completely different than what I grew up with. You know, there's a lot of great attributes to dairy for children, but at this age, for me and the clients that I work with, I coach more in the realms of paleo,
And it's a lifestyle, not a diet.
most certainly it is. A lifestyle. A diet isn't something that's sustainable, and that's truly what I look to coach is a sustainable lifestyle. And it starts with nutrition, and it goes to hydration and how much rest you're able to get, and a consistency within a workout regime.
Yeah, but you have seen people lose a lot of weight switching over to paleo.
Yeah, I coached a client of mine a year ago that came to me at his largest at 335, and he worked with me for the course of 8 months, and we were working together daily. He lost over 130 pounds in being very strict within paleo. I'd love to take any of that credit, but it was a lot of all of his hard work and dedication to his nutrition, and then consistency within his workout.
So you talked about going to this dark place, and then from that, applying what you had learned and what you had gone through to try to help others. So what does it feel like today? Because now you are really going to a place where you're, I mean, there's no boundaries. Now, you love to, I see how much satisfaction you get out of helping people and coaching them, not just from a physical standpoint, but that also goes to our mental strength and believing that things in our life are possible.
Yeah, where does it, so my question,
Yeah,
I'm
so the
like,
question
yes,
is,
you're right.
Yeah, Carey, good one. No, so I mean, just what does that feel like for you to be in that place?
Gosh, I feel amazing right now. Everything is coming into place. I work with great people that motivate me to do more than what I thought possible for myself. And what I look to do is elevate every individual that I come in contact with. I do that through the realms of fitness and then creating a lifestyle, but what I look to do is amplify everything that they do outside of the time between the two of us, or, you know, how that may be.
So for you, how much personal satisfaction living your dream?
I'm most certainly living my dream.
But your dream now is elevating because tell me about your getting involved with the K2 Foundation.
Yeah, things have kind of come full circle. So I remember that during my back surgery, I was at the darkest point, and all I wanted to do was be able to be mobile and move around the world. And I remember seeing something on TV that pulled me right to that, and people were climbing mountains, and I'm now involved with K2Adventures, where I will be guiding individuals down the Grand Canyon and Mount Kilimanjaro, amongst many other mountains throughout the world. So I'm ecstatic and in a great place at this point in my life.
And you also work with an organization that is near and dear to my heart, Rush Club, and that helps a lot of athletes who really have suffered tremendous injuries get out there and compete on an athletic stage. That gives you a lot of joy.
I've been with Rush Club since the beginning, and that's been really my pleasure outside of everything that I do on a day-to-day, and that's my passion. So Rush Club is very dear and near to my heart, and I've been blessed to be a part of it. Seeing the platform that they have put together for adaptive athletes is incredible, and to be able to empower them in that manner has been a phenomenal process to be a part of.
So Jeff, for folks who might be listening or watching and who are just in a rut, it's hard sometimes because people are busy and they're overwhelmed. and stress and anxiety can take hold of our lives very easily. What is your best advice for someone who might want to jumpstart a more athletic part of themselves and be stronger, fitter, and healthier, and have more energy? What's your advice?
My advice is to start small and find continuous steps that you can maintain and sustain. Start out with walks, start out with swims, start out whatever makes you happy, and build upon that little by little, day by day. Find success in the small wins. Your small efforts add up to great wins at the end.
And just leave it right here for me with what is the one thing when it comes to, if you hear your client say, I ate this or I did this, you're like, no, don't do it. Is it alcohol? Is it sugar? I mean, what is the one thing that we need to stay away from?
Gosh, I think sugar's really top of the list. 100 years ago, we were taking in a single gram of sugar on average, and at this point in society, we're taking in over 100 grams on average a day. So I think that sugar's definitely a big contributor to our health problems, and that when I hear things like that, I cringe
And
a
you
little
always
bit.
lecture, well, not lecture, but kindly nudge that enough sleep is definitely necessary as well.
Well, especially for you, you're
Yeah.
always on the go, 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 right?
That's why I've started working out at 5:30 in the morning. It's the only time I can find. Where can people find you, Jess?
You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook under Jesse Holland. I'm on all social media feeds, and my website, YourScottsdaleCoach.com, should be up and running shortly.
All right, thanks for being here, and I'll be back in the gym with you next week, I promise. Thanks for listening and watching our live stream, everyone. You can see the show always on my Facebook page at Carey Pena, or on our site, inspiredmedia360.com, and be sure to subscribe so you stay in touch with us. We'd love to hear your feedback. Today's show produced and engineered by the very fit Julio guy over there, Shannon Hernandez. Brought to you by Inspired Media 360. Until next time, stay inspired.